Welcome to the playoffs. It is Southern California Prep Insider. This is a football podcast. Tommy Moore, Shotgun Spradling here. Shotgun, it's finally time.
Finally time to get to the playoffs, and it's an exciting time. Great matchups all over the place. This is the part of the year we really enjoy because it's winner go home time now.
Yep, loser leaves town. We got to get to all the games, but we'll do a little bit differently. There's no top 10, no top performers from last week because we have too much to talk about playoff-wise, so we will skip right to the field reporters. We're going to let them all go in a row. So here's all three of them. Check them out.
Yeah, thank you, Tommy. This time I'm here at Citrus Hill, where I got to speak with the head coach over here, Eric Zomalt. Now, funny story, they have a very strong brotherhood here, but quite literally here at Citrus Hill, they have Anthony Zomalt and D Money Miles, who are actually the coach's son and nephew. Now, this team has been doing exceptionally great this year, going 10-0. Their defense doing even better than expected. They have only given up 13 points at most this entire season. So we're really looking forward to how they do in CIF play. Coming up this week, they're going off against Damien. So I asked Coach what we can really expect from this team this season. You guys have a winning program here at Citrus Hill, but especially this year going completely undefeated, 10-0. Your defense has been doing exceptionally well. What is it that has just been clicking for this 2018 team?
How quickly the group was. We didn't have a bunch of kids returning as starters, and so I was really pleased with how quickly they embraced the process and what's kind of necessary to excel on defense and being sharp with your checks and your assignments and alignments, and they did that right from the start, and it's been great.
Now going on to talk about your defense, which, like we mentioned, has been doing exceptionally well. The most that they have given up this year is just 13 points to San Jacinto. Now, how are they able to go out there and do so well for this Citrus Hill team?
I mean, the first thing, characteristic that really kind of defines the kind of kids that we want on defense are kids that are tough and physical, and they want to run and they want to hit, and then from that point, if they're capable of kind of understanding the concepts and the scheme and the preparation, and they embrace that, it can lead to big things. And so that's been the biggest thing. We've got some kids who can play for starters, but they also have a willingness to learn.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned a lot of guys graduated out. You now have a younger team. Who were a couple of guys that really stood out to you this year that you weren't expecting to go out there and play as well as they did?
We had a couple of sophomores who started a year ago on offense for us, Earl Estelle and Elijah Robinson, who got switched to defense. And we knew they were good football players. They're good enough to start as 10th graders, but they've really stood out on the defensive side of the ball.
Typically if a head coach does it well, they are viewed as a father figure. But quite literally here at the Citrus Hill team, you are a father figure to your son, Anthony, of course. And then you also have your nephew out there playing. What has it been like to see them now? They're now in their senior year. What has it been like to see their growth as they've developed here at Citrus Hill?
It's been, just been cool just to be a part of, to see them come in as youngsters in our program. Their freshman year won state, and so there was a lot. There's always been high expectations, and they were able to start as sophomores and compete and hold their own, and they really kind of matured into impact players, and they're good. They're great kids, and so they work hard, they play smart, and they're coachable kids, and so it's been awesome to be a part of it.
Now, you guys have had an amazing year. You're starting off CIF play going up against Damien. Now, what can we expect from you going up against them?
We just want to try to put our best foot forward and play clean, great football, and just the playoffs. Like any team that's qualified for postseason play has won some games and done some things right, and so it really comes down to who plays best on that night, and so that's really our goal, is to be at our best when our best is needed.
Now, what are you guys working on this week and potentially the next couple of weeks in order to make sure that you make it even further than you did last year and the past couple of years?
just the same deal. Just try to not look past. Kids get caught up in trying to win a ring, and you can't win 4 if you don't win 3, and you can't win 3 if you don't win 2, and you can't win 2 if you don't win 1. So just take it one game at a time, one snap at a time, and good things will happen. So you cannot look past that moment and that night and assume that you'll live to see another day. And so we wanna be at our best on Friday night.
I'm looking forward to it, Coach. So as we mentioned, Citrus Hill will be going up against Damien this Friday. Really looking forward to that. Their defense, once again, I'm sure will do exceptionally well. Now diving into a couple of other games that went on this past week, I went to Murrieta Valley versus Vista Murrieta this past Friday, and what a game it was. Vista ended up walking away with the win 35-21, but Hank Bachmeyer, the quarterback for Murrieta Valley, actually set a record for the CIF Southern Section most touchdown passes thrown. Now he beat out JT Daniels' previous record of 152. He now has 154. That's obviously going to continue to grow. It's going to be very exciting. Another game ball that I'm looking forward to giving out is Alex Ruiz, who plays at Linfield Christian. Now, he was their starting quarterback. Then last year, he had to get his leg amputated. We actually did a building character on that this past Friday. He went out there. He did not start, but he ended up going in there, and he threw 2 touchdown passes. What an amazing game that was. What an amazing journey that guy has. I'm really looking forward to seeing where he goes from here on. Now, just one final game ball that I'm looking forward to giving out is Hunter Escorcia, safety at Vista Murrieta. He went out there. He had 3 picks. He really sealed the deal for Vista. So that was a great game to watch, as I mentioned. Now, this is the first week of CIF play that we've got, and we've got a lot of really interesting games going on. Murrieta Valley going up for the matchup once again against San Clemente. Vista Murrieta against Rancho Cucamonga. That's going to be a very close one right there. So I really don't know which way it's going to go. I'm most likely going to cover that one, but we'll see. Then in Division 8, we have Temecula Valley going up against Woodbridge. Now, Woodbridge is 7-3 this season. Temecula Valley going out there, and they are at an even 500. This team, though, they are growing so much this season. The past 2 seasons, they could barely walk away with a win. Last season, they didn't get any wins. The season before that, they only had about 1 or 2. This season, here they are at 500. I'm looking forward to this Friday. I think that they're going to go out there, and if not walk away with the win, I think it's going to be a very close game. So that is one others that I'm looking forward to watching. And then one other team that I'm really looking forward to following through CIF play is actually Linfield Christian, as I already mentioned before. I'm really expecting a lot from them. They are currently 9-1, and this week I'm expecting yet another win. I really am thinking that they're going to take it all the way and get a D12 championship. Now that they have Alex Ruiz back, they also have Caleb Maresh leading them and a couple other guys that are really doing great. So it's going to be a great team to watch.
I'm here at Grace Brethren High with running back Lontrell Diggs. Lontrell, you're having an incredible season. You won the Camino League last week with a big win over Camarillo, your rival. In that game, I know a lot of people who followed me have already heard the stat line, but let's go over it again. 38 carries, 357 yards, and 4 touchdowns. That was your best game, you said. How were you able to do that? Incredible, incredible game.
I give it up to my line, my fullbacks. They stepped up, and they did an amazing job. Kept pushing me at practice, and just getting better throughout the whole game, just being able to rely on my team to have my back, and I got their back.
What does it mean to you as a senior to win the Camino League?
It means a lot. Coming into a new league, playing better teams, and this is actually the best schedule that Grace ever been in, and it was an honor to be playing that game and to come out the W.
Yeah, and the 2 losses you guys had were really close ones, one to Antelope Valley and then the other to Sierra Canyon. And you mentioned the tough schedule. How do you think that's prepared you for the Division IV playoffs?
I looked at the rankings and the schedule that we have, or the team that we could play. They're very tough. There's a lot of big names out there, and it just prepared us by playing a lot of big teams. Westlake, Sierra Canyon, AV, it definitely prepared us mentally and on the field. Playing against the number 1 linebacker, DeGabriel Floyd, and Sierra Canyon just being a good team all around, it definitely prepared us a bunch.
Certainly, and we're excited for your first-round game against St. Bonaventure. I know it's early in the week, but what's the preparation been like for that team?
Just same as every other week. Just stay focused, come out day by day, do everything we do, take it step by step.
I came here at practice. I took in a little bit of it, and you hear the coaches. They say, guys, You know, it's the playoffs, but we're here for 6 more weeks. We're trying to play for 6 more weeks. What's it going to take to fulfill that goal, win a CIF championship, and then get into the state playoffs?
Going day by day, just working every day. Every step matters. So just coming out here, working as hard as we do, and just make sure that we don't have no setbacks.
Your season this year, it's been incredible. Multiple game balls that I've given you, and you're going to get one this week, a little bit of a sneak peek in a little bit. Who do you credit for putting you in this position? And I know you do a lot of work, but who's helped you get to this point?
My coaches first, and then my line definitely. They definitely stepped up, and they got better every week, coming with the same line as last year, adding Foe. And it's just been amazing. They've stepped up, moving into different spots, and just executing in every spot that my coach put them in. And just my fullback stepping up, coming from defense to offense, being asked a lot to do. So I definitely appreciate them.
Yeah, Trenton Gill, the fullback's done a lot of great work for you. You mentioned the coaching staff earlier. What's your relationship like with Coach Henderson?
Coach Henderson, he's an amazing coach. He's different. He's more of an old-style type of coach, but it's definitely good to be around something different than my last school. And just every other school around here, they seem to not have the enthusiasm that he has and the love for the game. I don't know. It just he sparks up something. Like even at practice, it just you get the same energy from him anywhere that you see him. So it's definitely amazing.
So you spent the last 2 years at Grace playing football. What are some of your favorite memories from your time here?
Definitely playing Antelope Valley in the CIF game. Having a lot of my old coaches and my old quarterback there is definitely an amazing time. Growing up around all those kids. Playing with Joaquin Vukobradovic, JJ, BJ, JB. They're all gone right now, but it was an amazing time playing with them. They definitely sparked up something last year that we continued on this year. And just being around these dudes right now is just every day is just amazing time. The injury stays the same all the time, so we're always ready.
Lontrell, the last question I have for you is you're kind of having the ideal senior year. Stats are incredible, winning games, you're one of the top seeds in Division IV. How much fun has this year been?
It's been hard, but very fun. Just putting in the work, just having my team rely on me, and I rely on them to have my back. It's just been amazing. Weight room wise, our lifting coach is amazing. He's always lifting with us, just sprints with us. Everybody in the staff and the team just bonded and just makes it even more fun.
That's Lontrell Diggs, the running back here at Grace Brethren. Lontrell, thank you.
Thank you.
So there's the update from Grace Brethren. Let's move on now to the game ball segment where I highlight some of the top players from the past week in the northern part of the southern section. Tipped this one earlier, but Lontrell Diggs, the running back here at Grace, he gets the first one because when you rush for 357 yards, 4 touchdowns in a league-clinching game, you're going to get the game ball every day of the week. So he gets things started. That's number 3 for him. He's having an incredible season. Remember, he's a guy who is yet to receive a D1 offer. The stats speak for themselves with him. And then secondly, over at Workman High, the quarterback, Ike Udengwu, 487 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, and 71 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns in Workman's 63-38 win over Sierra Vista. And that helped them give them a share of the Montview League title. So 2 guys putting up big performances when it counted most. And then finally, my pick, I think the best game out of any division, best opening round game in the southern section, it's Notre Dame against La Habra. Going to be a barn burner. I'm taking Notre Dame in that one. Could go either way, but I'm feeling really good about Cooper Meek in that offense in that one. So give me Notre Dame.
Quick recap of the last week of regular season play. Mater Dei defeated Orange Lutheran 45-7. J. Sarah defeated Santa Margarita 42-17. And Bosco shut out Servite 56-0. Later on, we're going to give you a look at which local teams are headed into round 1 of the CIF playoffs this coming Friday. But first, I'm here at El Modena High School. The Vanguards are in the CIF Division IV playoffs as an at-large team. Let's see how they're preparing to take on Paramount in round 1.
I'm here with Coach Matt Mitchell, head coach of El Modena. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for coming out today.
So El Modena made the transition from Division 7 to Division 4 this year. How has that transition been for the program?
Really hasn't been. I mean, our focus is just trying to win the championship every year. But, I think, I don't know. We'll see how the division turns out. It's all new to us, so we'll see.
You were an assistant coach here for several years before becoming a head coach. How has your experience coaching here been?
It's been great. It's an enjoyment to be part of the community, and just being here and being an alumni. It's been fun.
What makes El Modena different from other schools around here?
I think it's our overall program and our school, but the biggest thing, I think it's a family. We have a lot of brothers and sisters that all go to here and keep coming through the program and through the school. But just overall, it's a big family. I think everyone is a part of it. Is what the most important part is.
How would you describe your coaching style and philosophy?
Coaching style, philosophy. I think the whole coaching staff kind of balances each other out, personality-wise, with the kids. So we have a balanced personality through the whole group of everybody.
Lastly, how is the team preparing for Paramount this Friday?
We're preparing the same way we have the last couple of weeks, just trying to get better individually a little bit, and then as overall group get better. But we've lost some close games, and we got to bounce back from that.
Thank you so much, Coach, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Hey, good Monday. All right. Now we got to put a Tuesday together and every other day of the week.
Hey, freshman guys, I want to meet freshman guys. I want you after. Yo, back up, top 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's go, Live, bring it up.
This Friday, some matchups to watch for in the first round of CIF playoffs are Mission Viejo at Bishop Amat. That will be streaming on Prep Zone at 7 p.m., in addition to J. Sarah at Long Beach Poly, Westlake at Los Alamitos, Capistrano Valley at Lompoc, St. John Bosco versus Sarah, and the game of the week is Murrieta Valley at San Clemente at 7:30 p.m. on Fox Sports West. Back to you.
All right, Shotgun. So what we're going to do here, we're going to talk about the Division 1 through 5 playoffs. We will talk about 6 through 10 as we get later into the postseason when there's less games, but there's just too many games to talk about. We will go pretty quickly through 5 through 3, and then 2 and 1, we will go a little more in depth. So, Shotgun, are you ready to start with Division 5? Excuse me.
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, first game we got to talk about. It is Aquinas and Los Altos at Aquinas.
I got Aquinas in their defense. I mean, they're going to be the cream of the crop in this division. So Aquinas is the team I'm rolling with until they get to the finals for sure.
I will go that way as well. Next, we've got Harvard Westlake traveling to Palos Verdes.
Harvard Westlake on the road gets this win.
I agree. Very boring so far. Next, Apple Valley is going to host a game against Diamond Ranch.
Apple Valley jeans, boots with the fur. I'll take Apple Valley.
I like them too. They've got a dynamic offense out there. I mean, a couple kids that don't get enough recognition because they're a little bit further away. But Apple Valley has got a talented quarterback and wide receiver combo out there. So I'm going to go with them as well. Next, Glendora hosting Burbank.
I'm going with the Fighting Matt Finks in Glendora. If you can play through 3 broken ribs and continue to play in a game like Matt Fink did for USC a couple games ago, then I'm going to take his high school, Glendora.
I think they should give him a start. That's neither here nor there, but I'll take them as well. Next, Lawndale hosting Dos Pueblos.
Lawndale's got a lot of talent, especially Jordan Wilmore, the running back. He's going to run for at least 150 yards in this one.
Yeah, I saw them in person play Culver City. They're very impressive. Jordan Wilmore left that game early with a bum ankle, but I think he's fine by now, so I'm going to go with Lawndale next. Antelope Valley traveling to Don Lugo.
Antelope Valley always has some athletes. I'm going to take them in this one.
I'll take the home team. I'll go Don Lugo here. Next, we've got Colony going to La Serna.
I got Colony in the upset here.
All right, finally, we've got the team that I think is going to win this division. It is St. Paul hosting Corona.
Yeah, St. Paul is going to win easily this week.
I agree with you, too, and I think they're probably the favorites. I know you like Aquinas, but they're probably the favorites, in my opinion, to win the Division 5 championship. Moving on to D4, we have CDM Corona Del Mar hosting the close-by Redondo Union High School.
Corona Del Mar in a blowout, and I'm going to guess 3 touchdowns for my boy John Humphreys.
Corona Del Mar wins this. If I had to pick one right now, I would say they're probably the Division 4 favorites. They could probably compete in higher divisions as well. Next, we've got Yorba Linda hosting Chino Hills.
No Ball Brothers for Chino Hills, so I'm taking Yorba Linda in this one.
I'll go Yorba Linda as well. Next, we've got Camarillo hosting Rio Mesa.
Camarillo has been playing really well this season. I'm going to take them.
Go Scorpions. I got them as well. I was just at a wedding, actually, in Camarillo. Nice little area. Same exit as the high school. So.
Nice. Good job.
Yeah. I did a great job there. That was me doing preliminary research, just checking out the high school. Next, we've got Oak Hills hosting Chaparral.
Oak Hills is one of the best offensive linemen in the West on the West Coast in Jason Rodriguez. I'm going to take him to maul some people and get Oak Hills to a victory here.
I'll go with them as well. Next, the other team. Okay, if anyone's actually, there's 3 teams in here who have a legitimate shot at this division. This is my number 2 out of 3 teams that's got a shot. It's Grace Brethren hosting Saint Bonaventure.
Yeah, I think St. Bonaventure doesn't really match up well with Grace Brethren. I think Grace Brethren runs away with this one. And like you said, they're a team that could be in it at the end.
Yeah, they're a team that I could see possibly in the finals. Next, we've got Paramount hosting El Modena.
Paramount wins at home in this one.
I agree. Next, we have Saugus and Bishop Diego.
Saugus.
Same. Gosh, we have too many similar picks, man. Next, the other team that I think has got a shot at winning this division, it's Villa Park hosting Yucaipa.
Yeah, Villa Park is undefeated. I think they'll add another one to their win column in this game. So I think that when you get towards the finals, the good thing for Corona Del Mar being kind of the top seed is that they avoid Grace Brethren until potentially the final. So it'll be Grace Brethren versus Villa Park likely in the semifinal in CIF Southern Section. And then the winner of that, all 3 of those win this.
Yeah, I'm going to say this about those 3 teams, too. Those are all 3 teams that have gotten votes for me for being a top 10 team, not just in their division, obviously, but in the Southern Section. So I know they're Division 4, but all 3 of those schools are very good. Next, we'll move on to Division 3 now. The favorite in this division, probably Cajon, hosting Paloma Valley.
Cajon, no doubt. Jaden Daniels is a beast.
Yeah, they're going to be tough to beat in Division 3. Next, we got Paraclete and Charter Oak.
I'm going to take 4 and 6 Paraclete in this one because they're playing 2 and 8 Charter Oak.
I'll take them as well. That 4 and 6 is not as bad as it looks. They played a rough schedule, so we'll go with that. Next, we got Santiago from Corona and Marietta Mesa.
We went out to Santiago a couple weeks ago, so I'm going to go with Santiago in this one.
Yeah, they're going to be featured on the TV show this week, so I'm going to pick them. Go Sharks. Next, we got Lompoc hosting Capistrano Valley.
Capistrano Valley wins on the road. They haven't been playing great in the second half of the season, but I'm going to take the quarterback Nathan Manning to lead in the victory here.
Stop stealing my picks, man. This is getting too boring. Capistrano Valley as well. Next, Sierra Canyon will host Roosevelt.
Sierra Canyon's going to win this, but watch out for 5-5 Roosevelt. They're a team that can win a couple games in this division and make some noise and upset some people.
I'll do it. I'll take Roosevelt here in this game. Next, we've got Hart hosting Moore Park.
I'll do it.
I'll do it.
Moore Park on the road in this one. They played last week. I went and saw them last week. They played without the quarterback Blake Sturgill. It looked like he had a broken hand. If they get him back, that'd be a big boost for them. They still have Drake London, who's a monster on the outside, and he even took a fake punt about 50 yards last week. So I got Moore Park winning this one.
I'm going to pick Hart. I've picked Moore Park a few times, and they haven't pulled it out for me. So this is a revenge game for me. Right?
Okay.
It doesn't matter what the numbers say. I'm just going to pick Hart. Next, we got La Mirada hosting Downey.
2-8 La Mirada wins over 5-5 Downey. This is where the schedule really comes into effect, like you said, with Paraclete and Charter Oak. La Mirada play one of the toughest non-conference or non-league schedules in the country. So I'm going to take La Mirada. I think that prepared them. They played better down the end of the stretch, so I think they'll beat Downey.
I'm going to take them as well. I saw them play last year against Mission Viejo. They are not scared of anyone. Unfortunately, it played out not in their favor with the 2-8 record, but they are probably the best 2-8. I'll say it, the best 2-8 team in the country. I'll say it right now.
Well, they're in the playoffs, so they got a chance to make some noise.
They get a home game, so that's good. The final game in this division, it is Citrus Hill hosting Damien.
Citrus Hill is the class of this division outside of Cajon, so I'm taking them win this easily.
I'll take them as well. Moving on to Division 2, we'll do this a little bit slower. I know we kind of sped through those first 3. First game, it is Rancho Verde hosting Tesoro.
So Tesoro got out to a 4-0 start, and they lost 3 in a row. The big thing for them is taking care of the football. When they've lost, they've really struggled with turnovers and stuff. Their quarterbacks Kyle Luke and Sean Lindgren have to play better for them if they want to win this game. I don't think that they can go on the road and beat Rancho Verde. We talked about Rancho Verde last week. We talked about them a lot. Xavier Georgie is a dynamic running back in the backfield for them. They got Ty McCullough on the outside as a receiver. They're coming off a 17-10 win over Romoland Heritage, which earned them the top seed in this bracket. I think we both picked Heritage to win that game. So Rancho Verde showed us a little bit there, going and getting that victory over Heritage. They shut down that rushing attack and holding it to 10 points. I think they'll do the same with Tesoro. Tesoro's got a good rushing attack too. Their quarterbacks aren't great. So I think Rancho Verde does the same thing they did last week, shut down the run and get the win.
Yeah, I mean, Rancho Verde, I believe, is, let me check it really quick so I don't give wrong information to the people. They are, yes, they're 10-0, have not lost it so far this season, but I'm going to go with Tesoro. I saw Rancho Verde live in person against Heritage. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go Tesoro, Rancho Verde. I saw them live in person. The thing that scares me, and I'm not trying to knock the kid, freshman quarterback in playoffs. Never really know what you're going to get. So I'm going to go with Tesoro here. Next, we have Cathedral hosting Alemany.
So Cathedral at Alemany is one of my favorite matchups of the week. This one and the next one, actually, the next two we're going to talk about are two of the best of the week for me. Alemany, we've talked about them before about how they have such a dynamic young core. They're coming off. They're 6-4. They go to Cathedral, who's 8-2. Cathedral normally has some really standout athletes on the team. They've done it more as a team this year than having Bryce Young or having a guy like Hunter Eccles coming off the edge, who's at USC now. They've got some really talented guys like Stephon Wright, the defensive tackle, who's can clog up the middle, can also get in the backfield. I think Alemany can go on the road and get this win. The key is going to be getting Miller Moss going early. They're a young quarterback, sophomore quarterback. If they can get him going early, they can potentially win this game. I'm going to actually call the upset. I'm going to go with Alemany in this. I think they can get the win. They can slow down that Cathedral running attack of Terrence Simon. If he's a big guy and he's nimble too. So, but you got to slow him down to slow down that Cathedral offense. I think Alemany can do it.
I like Alemany in the coming years. I've said it already, but I'm going to go with the Phantoms here. Simon, as you mentioned, 14 touchdowns already. B. Jordan, 9 touchdowns. Little brother M. Jordan, also good running back too. So we've got 3 running backs as far as I'm concerned for Cathedral that can get it done. But I'm going to go with Cathedral there. Next we have La Habra hosting Notre Dame from Sherman Oaks.
Notre Dame 7-3, La Habra 7-3. I think La Habra actually started 0-4 on the season. They got one win back via forfeiture of Mission Viejo. La Habra played a really tough schedule early in the season. They played some tight games. They just couldn't get over the hump. I think that's prepared them going through the season. I think they're going to get this win. I love Clark Phillips, the two-way guy for La Habra. He is, they call him Mr. Pick Six because he had 3 pick sixes in a game last year. He also, has done it on an offensive side. He's been their top receiver. He's, for Ryan Zanelli, he's always looking for Clark Phillips. Where's Clark at? Where's he at? Mr. Pick Six does it on both sides of the ball. I think that La Habra gets the win. They've got to shut down that rushing attack in Sherman Oaks, Notre Dame, though. Cooper Meek's been really good. He's really efficient as a quarterback. He can throw he's not asked to throw the ball a ton, but he'll go 7 of 8 in a game, because they run the ball so well with their running backs that they don't ask the quarterbacks to do too much. I'm going to take La Habra in this, though. I think they get it done.
I'll go other way. I'll go Sherman Oaks, Notre Dame. Cooper Meek also has over 500 rushing yards so far this season. So it's not just the running backs. The kick and tuck it and run shotgun.
Yeah, it's like a 3-headed monster, basically. They got 3 guys that are up over 500 yards, I think. Next,
we've got Westlake traveling to Los Alamitos.
This could be a pretty good game, too. I got Westlake winning this. They're the underdog, even though here they're going on the road. They got to play at Cerritos College. Westlake's got more talent, in my opinion, more high-end talent, with DeGabriel Floyd committed to Texas, and Terrell Vaughn and some other guys that they have on the roster. Fabi Kulunan that's going to Washington. He's been playing both ways for him. I just think that they have too much high-end talent to beat. They have too much high-end talent to lose to Los Alamitos. Los Alamitos is, another, this is more of the stars versus the team type of matchup once again. Los Alamitos doesn't necessarily have the high-end guys that are, big-time D1 prospects, but they've been playing really well together this season. They beat Long Beach Poly. They beat some other teams. But I got Westlake going on the road and getting the win.
I've got them as well. I got Westlake, tough schedule they had to play coming into the season. I think it's going to help them out. Next, we've got Norco hosting Rev, Redlands East Valley.
The Rev. We're not talking Remember the Titans here.
No.
Miles Ferreira is the key for Redlands East Valley. He's a quarterback. He also runs the ball a little bit. But, if they get him going, then it could be a long night for Norco. But Norco, they won the first matchup between these two teams, 52-37. It wasn't really that close. And they got up to a 35-10 lead at the half. Freshman Jay Knott ran for 167 yards. Shane Illingworth has been really good for them at the quarterback position. I think Norco, just it's a repeat of the first game. I think they run away with it pretty early. If they can shut down Herrera, then I don't think the Redlands East Valley has many other weapons that can cause that much damage.
I'm going to go with Norco as well, and the illest quarterback in the Southern section, Shane Illingworth. Hilarious. Good joke, Tom.
I like it.
Yeah. Next, the team that I saw last week is going to play a team that I saw, I think, week 3. It is Upland hosting Heritage from Rummeland.
Upland's coming off a loss to Rancho Cucamonga. rivalry matchup that they did not play very well, but they did not have Justin Flo in that game. I think he's such a difference maker that having him for the playoffs is going to be the key for him. He just shuts everything down on that defensive side. He's all over the place at all times. It feels like they've got some dynamic offensive weapons, and Cameron Davis and Taj Davis both committed to go to Washington. It's just up to Evan Rowe to get the ball out to guys. Cameron Davis at the running back position, he's going to do enough to keep you going. But you got to have a little bit of play from the quarterback if you want to go deep in the playoffs. I think Upland wins this. They've got to shut down that running attack of Rummeland Heritage. Obviously, they tear up yards with Ika Tuatele and a couple of those other guys. But having Justin Flo back, I think he's the guy that can do that. So I'm going to take Upland in this one.
I'm going to take Upland as well, but they need to wake up because if they do win this, they're going to have a tough game next week against who I predict to be Norco. And I want to give one shout-out to a Heritage player, Kenny Teeter. Saw them play last week. He forced a fumble and had an interception and was, he's like the starting fullback. So the kid had a heck of a game. He's not very big. He's about 5'11", 170 pounds. But the kid is a football player, only a junior, so watch out for him next year as well. Next, we've got Edison traveling to San Juan Hills.
You look at the records, you think, okay, Edison's 5-5, San Juan Hills is Bright is constant calls and disruption in the backfield of the defensive end position. He's a big time D1 guy. Sean Ryan is one of the SoCal's top offensive linemen. He's a big D1 guy. But then you look, and these two teams played earlier in the season. Edison scored 33 points in the second half for a 33-14 win. They had 2 interceptions in that, including a pick 6 that helped out that. So it's the question of, can your stars beat the team that beat up on you? Can you get some revenge? I don't know. I think I'm going to take Edison in this one.
I'll go with San Juan Hills. I think I will say this. I mean, Edison's schedule is a little bit harder, so I think San Juan Hills maybe wasn't ready for it yet. They played him now. It's tough to beat the same team twice. They got a couple guys who I think got All-American jerseys a couple days ago, so they got to be feeling pretty good about themselves over at San Juan Hills. Final game in Division II, it is Calabasas hosting St. Francis.
And St. Francis is all about Darius Parentis, the quarterback, what he can do, and can they shut him down? I think Calabasas having Chris Claiborne as the head coach and defense coordinator now, I think he's able to devise something to shut them down. Calabasas has so many offensive weapons that Jaden Casey's going to be throwing to Jeremiah Burton. He's going to be throwing to Micah Pittman. He's going to be throwing to Johnny Wilson, and they're going to put up probably 40 points in this game. I think Calabasas wins this one easily.
Yeah, I saw them play Oaks Christian, as did you, and they were impressive. Even though it was a loss, they were an impressive team. So I've got Calabasas as well, a team that probably could compete in Division I, but is for now in Division II. We will get to Division I now. It is the final division, the top division, if you want to call it that, is Division I. We'll start with what most people would say, I think pretty much everyone would say, is the number 1 team in the nation. It is St. John Bosco hosting Sarah Shotgun. Is there any chance?
No, not a chance here. Bosco's going to win this one. The running game is just going to be too strong. Boise State commit George Solani. He's averaging 9.9 yards per carry. He's got 12 touchdowns on a year. And Sarah doesn't stop the run very well. They lost Max Williams, who's our best playmaker, a guy who can, score on punt returns, kick returns. You put him at receiver, he can score. They lost him for the season earlier in the year. They've only got one defensive guy that's really, been a standout this year. That's been Justin Houston in the middle. He's got more than 10 tackles per game, but I just don't think that they can slow down Bosco's running attack. Even though they've got some weapons, Doug Brumfield can throw to L.V. Bunkley, he can throw to Justin Lockhart. He's got 8 touchdowns this year. He's got Melquan Stovall, Ronald Gilliam, all quality wide receivers. But I don't think they're going to have the ball that long because Bosco's going to be able to control the game in the running attack.
Yeah, I got Bosco as well. I mean, they're going to storm through this playoffs. I think it's going to be tough for anyone to beat them. The team that they will play if they win will be the winner of this game. It'll be San Clemente, who's had a heck of a second half of the season, by the way. Will be hosting Murrieta Valley.
Murrieta Valley and San Clemente played earlier this year. It was at Murrieta Valley. San Clemente lost that game to Murrieta Valley, but that was one of 4 straight losses since then. They've won 5 straight. Murrieta Valley had won 5 straight before last week's loss to Vista Murrieta. So what kind of gives there? The big question is, will Brendan Costello be available? He left last game with an injury. In the first matchup, he threw for 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. The 2 interceptions were key. Hank Bachmeyer on the other side did not throw for 2 interceptions. He was 21 of 28, 346 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also ran 12 times for 115 yards. It's going to be a big matchup between those guys if Costello does play. But if he doesn't, You know,
Big
San
offer.
Clemente had Drayton Joseph step in last week. He led the Tritons to their first win over Mission Viejo in 19 years. So, you know, they've got a quality backup there that can fill in. But I think you got to have Brendan Costello if you want to be able to beat Marietta Valley in this one. There's some dynamic receivers and running backs in this game as well, but it's all about the quarterbacks. I'm taking San Clemente if Brendan Costello plays. If not, go with Marietta Valley.
I hate when you do that. I'm going to go with Marietta Valley. I'm going to go with Marietta Valley either way, just because I feel like Costello, even if he does play, will not be 100%. And that's, you know, I credit to the kid if he does play for toughing through whatever injury he's got. But I've got Marietta Valley in this one. Next, Long Beach Poly will be hosting Jay Serra.
If you want to give me the injury report leading into our podcast each week, Tom, isn't it?
Fine.
This is a good matchup as well. Jay Serra, you know, they're the number 3 team in the Trinity League. Their 2 losses came to Mater Dei and Bosco. They beat the other teams. Chris Street's averaging over 100 yards per game. Caden Bell's got 21 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He's got some dynamic receiving targets: Munir McLean, Tariq Luckett, and Tyler Shimamura. But Long Beach Poly has been a completely different team from the beginning of the year. They started 0-2. They've gone. I think they've won 8 straight since then. Elijah Juarez, they put him in at the running back spot. You know, he's got 9 touchdowns in 7 games. He's was a former defensive lineman. So you love to see the big guy get in there and just bowling people over. They only allowed 39 points in their 6 league games. So it's going to be an offense versus defense kind of matchup. And can C.J. Montez, Long Beach Poly's quarterback, take care of the ball enough? He had 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions this year. He doesn't throw for a ton of yards. He had less than 100 yards passing per game, but he can run the ball as well. And Elijah Dolphin on the other side's got 11 sacks. So Long Beach Poly has some players. They've won 6 straight. Started 2-2, excuse me. So they won 6 straight. But I think Jay Serra wins this. Too much talent.
Yeah, I think Jay Serra is a top 5 team in the section. I think Long Beach Poly is somewhere just outside the top 10. So even on the road, I'll go with Jay Serra. Next, Oaks Christian will host. That's a lot of stuff. Chaminade.
Yeah, and just go back to Jay Serra. They're not just a top 5 team in Southern California. They're a top 5 team in the country. Yeah. Somehow they've lost 2 games. They're still ranked, I think, 5th or 6th in the country. Moving on to the Chaminade Oaks Christian game, you know, these 2 teams played earlier in the year. It was 31-13 Oaks Christian. I think it'd probably be something similar to that. You know, the Oaks Christian held Ryan Stevens to 96 yards passing. Chaminade ran the ball 45 times for 119 yards. That's only 2.6 yards per carry. I think that Zach Charbonnet just, you know, they give him the ball, feed him the ball. He'll take care of the rest. Last week they were down 7-0, though, and they came back and scored 13 points in the 4th quarter against rival Westlake. So a little bit of question about how well Oaks Christian's playing going into the playoffs. Didn't play that great against Calabasas either, even though they got the win in both those games. You know, the last 2 down the stretch. You would like to see them start playing a little bit better if you want them. If you think that they can compete later in the bracket with Jay Serra and then potentially Bosco if they face off with them, you know, they've got to play much better than they have the last couple of weeks. So it'll start this week, though. They'll shut down Chaminade and they'll win easily.
I think so, too. I've got Oaks Christian next, a team that surprisingly has to play a road game here, Shotgun. It's Mater Dei traveling to Valencia.
Mater Dei has to play a road game? That is surprising.
Didn't win the league.
That's what happens when you don't win the league and when you have to forfeit a game early in the year. Valencia has Javon Wilson. You know, he is a dynamic running back. However, Mater Dei has
everyone.
You just pull out the list of stars that they have. So I'm going to go with Mater Dei in this one. I think they win pretty easily. Bryce Young is just too much for a defense that's not great. They need it takes a great defense to shut him down, and Valencia has a good one, but not a great one.
I'll go with Mater Dei, too, which would give them a chance if this team advances to play them to avenge their first loss of the season. It is Bishop Amat hosting Mission Viejo.
So you're saying you think Bishop Amat is going to win?
I said a chance. They will have a chance if Bishop Amat wins.
Okay, so you got Bishop Amat, I think, is 8-2. You got Mission Viejo, who's technically 5-5. Mission Viejo obviously is the better team, though. They've got better stars. Joey Yellen, if you match them up side by side, Joey Yellen's better than the Amat quarterback. You know, running backs are better. Their receivers are better. But I'm still taking Mission Viejo, and I'm going with the talent over, playing at home. Bishop Amat's been playing really well too. They've been playing great down the stretch. But I think Mission Viejo's got kind of on a mission right now because of the forfeitures and everything. They want to prove themselves. So I'm taking Mission Viejo.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. As much as I'd love to see that rematch between Amat and Mater Dei, I've got Mission Viejo, Achille Arnold, the most underrated player in the Southern section there. I said it. It is true. It is a fact. It is not an opinion. Next, we've got Vista Marietta hosting Rancho Cucamonga.
Rancho Cucamonga, C.J. Stroud has 1,700 yards passing, 15 touchdowns on 3 interceptions. He's doing a good job. Rancho Cucamonga, I think they lost a couple. They started 1-3 or 1-4. I didn't write it down, but they have come on greatly this season. They beat Upland. Have been playing great down the stretch. They won their league. Whereas Upland was expected to win the league, and they just they pounded the rock against them. They moved Mark Perry, who's a defensive back by trade, safety, and moved him to running back. He's playing both ways now. He's got 800 yards rushing this year. He's been really good for them lately. He's been carrying the rock and kind of carrying the team for them. I think that giving him more carries has really turned this offense around a little bit. And they got a first-year head coach, so it takes a little bit of time to get things going. And I think they've been playing great recently. Vista Murrieta on the other side. Thea Gehring is a guy that they can give the ball to 30 times if they want to. He had a 50-yard touchdown to beat Los Alamitos earlier in the year. They're a team that I haven't got to see much of, but I'm still taking Rancho Cucamonga. I love the way that they played much better as the season has progressed.
Yeah, them beating Upland was enough for me to pick them in this game. The final game, we get to the final game in Division I. I think this could be a surprising win here, Shotgun. It is Centennial Corona hosting Orange Lutheran.
So you were at the first time these teams matched up. This is a rematch of the game that Centennial scored 35 points in the second half to win 45-28. Orange Lutheran had everything going their way in the first half. Everything Ryan Holinsky threw was pinpoint accuracy, and then everything fell apart in the second half. And now Kyle Ford, who was an absolute beast in that game, was just going up over people and dominating. I don't think Orange Lutheran has much of a chance in this game against Centennial.
I think it'll be close. I think it'll be a one-touchdown game, but I think Centennial will win. If with Ford, I think it goes the other way. Don't shake your head at me. It hurts my feelings. That is it, Shotgun. As we said, as we get further into the playoffs, we'll talk about more divisions. We just don't have time to get to all 100 of them or whatever there is now. But I promise you we will get to lower divisions as the postseason progresses. Shotgun, do you know where you'll be Friday?
I do not. Still trying to figure it out. There's so many good matchups, and I'm still debating in the last minute, and I'm going to decide which one I'll be at.
All right. Well, everyone tweet at Shotgun and tell them where to go. I will be at San Clemente to watch them play Marietta Valley. Should be a good one. We will see you guys next week with more playoffs.